Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to take a look at the Str Recoome and Guldo unit that recently was added to DBZ Dokkan battle as a part of the Captain Ginyu DFE celebration. So obviously they are a pretty strong unit. They link up really well with Ginyu and other Ginyu force members they link up decently with. But for the most part, these guys are really designed to be kind of a finishing piece to Captain Ginyu. In terms of their abilities, they are a Planet Namek Saga category lead of 130%, and they raise attack and defense for 1 turn on their super attack while lowering the enemy's attack and defense as well. They have attack and defense of 180%, plus an additional attack and defense of 10%, with each attack received up to 50%. They also have a high chance of guarding all attacks, plus an additional defense of 50% within the same turn when the guard is activated. They seal the attacked enemy's super attack, and they guard all attacks and have a high chance of stunning the attacked enemy when there is an ally whose name includes Ginyu attacking in the same turn. Now, in terms of link set, that's kind of where they become very limited. They have Frieza's army, Frieza's minion, Ginyu force, brutal beatdown, signature pose, loyalty, and fierce battle. Out of all of those, honestly, you can only get like most of them with a Ginyu force member and one other very specific free-to-play unit. So basically, it's a pretty good unit. I do really like what they bring, to a unit. I think they're really solid. I think they're very powerful. In terms of like their abilities, quite frankly, I think it's a good mixture. So they have attack and defense of 180%. They gain 10% with each attack received. They have a 50% chance of guarding unconditionally, which is good. It's obviously not 100%, but it is at least something somewhat reliable. 50%, not something you can obviously go to bed and think, oh well, that's definitely going to happen, but it is at least very reliable and should proc essentially half of the time, which is okay. Once that guard procs, then they gain an additional defense of 50%, which is also very good. Obviously it's going to spike their defense quite a bit. Here we can see they are linked up with the tech Captain Ginyu LR. Now it's important to take note they don't share a lot of links with this LR, but he does proc their passive. So because Ginyu is in this card's title name, basically they do proc their passive. So there are 3 or 4 units currently in the game that will proc their full passive. That is the Int Captain Ginyu, the Tech Ginyu LR, the Physical Ginyu LR, and the AGL DFE Captain Ginyu. All of which are obviously very solid units. The Tech one probably being the weakest, but the Physical one with his EZA now is very solid overall. And yeah, honestly just a very decent option. So yeah, basically if we take a look in terms of their performance, we could see their attack stat, nothing too crazy, defense stat 120k, all fairly solid, all fairly decent, and in terms of just raw stats, it's not too bad. Remember, these guys are at 55%. Now obviously they took a couple attacks there. Those attacks are going to be important because it's going to improve their defense. So we can take a look at how they do here. Here we obviously have another support on the rotation. We are sharing almost all our links between the two of them, and we are at 200,000 defense. We have 4 links active at this current point in time, and we have the full passive activated. So we're going to be able to guard all attacks, we're going to have a chance to seal, and we're going to have a chance to stun the enemy. So what we can see now is we can see Recoome and Guldo looking incredibly solid. Remember, they do raise their attack as well on their super attack, and they'll also increase their defense if their guard is activated. So after they super, or once they are hit, their defense is actually going to go up even further, because the 50% additional defense will kick in once they hit, and then they will also gain defense on their super attack. So we can see there we've got all the stacks built up. 1.9 million is not an exceptional attack stat, but it's decent. It's not going to blow anyone's roof off, but overall it's somewhat decent. It's a reliable attack stat. Remember, they do have quite a bit of support on this rotation, so it is important to mention that they can, to a certain extent, be a little bit lackluster offensively. But you are getting a very powerful unit defensively. The Ginyu Force link as well would help solve some of their offensive problems. But overall, you are kind of more banking on them for their full level of defense, because that's really, really good. I'm using Frieza's active skill just to kind of end this turn, so we can return back to the Ginyu Force and take a look at how good old Recoome and Guldo are doing. So obviously here, what's interesting is we don't actually have Ginyu on the rotation. So technically we only have the 50% chance to guard. We have below 200,000 defense again, but for the most part we have, well, no, we don't. We have over 200,000 defense. Very, very solid. We're still sharing only the 4 links, so we're not sharing anything special here, but we have 234,000 defense, which is very, very solid. So that's a very, very good mark to kind of be sitting with. Obviously without Ginyu on the rotation, there's only that 50% chance to guard, but 234,000 at 55% is very, very solid. Very, very good. We didn't activate the guard. We've got 1.8 million in attack stat, and so far so good. Very, very decent performance by them, and honestly very impressive. They would have raised their defense here, which is good, and now sitting at about 230,000 or so defense, which is very, very solid. So it's a decent amount of defense. Obviously if you have a rainbow unit or a unit with a dupe in them, they're going to be doing a lot better, because you are going to have quite a bit more defense on the unit itself. In terms of the actual unit, barring all of this, the main thing I think to point out is that in terms of categories, they are somewhat limited. Planet Namek Saga, Ginyu Force, Special Pose, Dragon Ball Seekers, Terrifying Conquerors, Space Traveling Warriors are all great categories that they can link up with Ginyu on, and you're going to see a good time. So even though they are limited, they do have the ability to be at their full power on almost all of their teams. The only team is Joined Forces, but even there you now have the physical LR Captain Ginyu, so you actually have a very, very solid options from which to run them with, and they are very, very powerful pairing. So you have plenty of options to run them with on all of their teams. So yes, they're limited category wise, but they can pretty much function to full capacity on every single category, which is pretty awesome. So I think they're good. I think they bring a lot to the table. Now we just need to talk about their link set, and that's kind of the only thing that's a little bit off. So the reason I say that it's off is because their link set's very Ginyu Force related. So if you're looking for a versatile link set that you can use to link them with anyone else, then I have very bad news for you, but it's not going to happen. So get that out of your mind right now. That's completely out the window. Their link set is Frieza's Army, Frieza's Minions, the Ginyu Force, Brutal Beatdown, Signature Pose, and Fierce Battle. The only ones really worth leveling is Frieza's Army for a 10% attack buff, Frieza's Minion for a 10% defense buff, the Ginyu Force for that extra critical hit chance, and the Signature Pose category, which is key and attack and defense. So obviously, as I mentioned, I wouldn't necessarily say that their link set is the greatest, just because it's so heavily limited, just because of the fact that they are Ginyu Force members. And that doesn't mean that they're not good characters. They are an exceptional unit that has, honestly, very much one of the strongest sets in the game for a banner unit. They're very strong, they're very powerful, but they link well with specific units. They link well with the Jason Berta unit. Obviously, they link 5 links with the new AGL Ginyu, which is obviously fantastic. They share 4 links with the green Deborah and Zarbon. So the tech Deborah and Zarbon, the free-to-play unit, they share 4 links with, which isn't actually half bad. And then they share 3 links with the tech Captain Ginyu, with the physical Captain Ginyu. They share 3 links with all the other Ginyu Force members, pretty much. Int Ginyu, physical Recoome, tech Guldo. And then they surprisingly only seem to share 2 links with Jace and 2 links with Berta. So they don't share a lot of links with those guys. They do share the main links of Ginyu Force and Signature Pose, but yeah, for the most part they don't really share a lot of links with those guys. Honestly, out of all those options, considering A, that AGL Ginyu is so strong, that B, Jace and Berta are so strong, you've got a great free-to-play option in the form of physical LR Ginyu. You just got a lot of great options, and so I think for me, I think that they, are set perfectly fine. I don't see them having that big an issue, even though, again, like I said, technically link-wise, maybe it's not necessarily the most exciting in terms of their linking, but for me, I just find that they are they're good on every team because they have an option on every team. As long as a unit has an option on the teams, then it's not an issue. The moment units don't have options on every team but one, it's an issue. But their categories are limited, but their options are also suitably on every category they're on. So as much as I want to say their link set's not great, the thing is, if you're trying to run these guys on any of their teams and you don't have AGL Ginyu or Int, Jason Berta, you can just run an AGL Ginyu friend lead and you'll be more than fine. So for me, they're really, really good. And yeah, I actually quite like what they bring to the table. So I think from that perspective, they honestly are perfectly fine. Link leveling them does help them out quite a lot, because a lot of their links like Ginyu Force, Frieza's army, Frieza's minions, they can give you a whole nother 10% on top of what they're already giving you. So their link leveling situation is actually pretty strong. And so I do suggest that if you are interested, you can link level them. It probably will help you out. But that's going to be it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, and I'll see you next time. Till then, take care, stay safe, and bye.